If they can't stop drugs from getting into the White House, what else can't they stop from getting into the White House? So there's a real security issue here in addition to the corruption. Judicial Watch has had many FOIAs pending on the Secret Service investigation of the Biden White House cocaine scandal, where a bag of cocaine of some indeterminate amount was left lying around the White House. We're still not sure where. As I said, it's this magical bag of cocaine that seems to, according to leaks, appear and disappear from different locations in the White House, depending on when the leak occurs. And on top of that, you've had the Secret Service, quote, investigating itself, because the Secret Service would have been responsible for allowing that cocaine to get into the White House. And the first suspect for any such cocaine being in the White House under Biden would be, of course, Hunter Biden. So what did the Secret Service, quote, investigation, unquote, uncover? Oh, they can't figure out who left the cocaine behind, because it was just too many people walking around in this public space, and 500 people, and they couldn't get DNA evidence, they couldn't get fingerprint evidence, and it's just too hard to figure out who possibly could have left the cocaine. Now, do you buy that? I don't buy that. And so the Secret Service has closed its investigation into the Biden White House cocaine mystery. And like every other act of corruption that seems to benefit the current regime, and I don't mean Biden specifically, I just mean this corrupt Washington, D.C. ethic. It's a mystery. So we have the mystery of the leak of the Supreme Court Dobbs decision that was designed to inflame and target the Supreme Court with pressure by left-wing activists in hopes of obstructing the final decision. You have that mystery that's never been solved. They couldn't figure out who leaked that Dobbs decision. And of course, you have these ongoing leaks out of the Justice Department and the FBI that haven't been resolved one way or another, all of which have been targeting Trump and company. And on top of that, you have the Durham investigation, which couldn't figure out just who exactly was responsible for the worst government corruption in American history, even though everyone knew that Obama did it, Biden did it, and Hillary did it. So in this case, we have the Secret Service, who's been used so often to help cover up for Joe Biden, and in the sense that Hunter had a gun of his thrown into a trash can, and then you had the Secret Service reportedly and/or the FBI go and vacuum records about the mishandling of that gun or the purchase of that gun from the gun store, and then of course you have the as I talked about last week, Joe's dog attacking Secret Service agents and other White House personnel, and a cover-up of that, and lies about just how severe those attacks were. But both the severity and the large number of the attacks. So it was like, an attack every day, and the White House was making it seem like it was just one incident. So it's the Secret Service is both put upon and abused, but also relied upon to, it looks like, cover things up. So I don't trust the Secret Service investigation. So that's why Judicial Watch has had a separate investigation going on with a number of Freedom of Information Act requests, one of which is already rejected by the Secret Service because they had an ongoing investigation. Well, I guess they're going to give us all the documents now, right? Because the investigation's over. So we'll see how that pans out. But we have other FOIA requests, too, for other agencies that people may not think to ask about or ask documents of that we'll be pursuing. So this cocaine scandal is, I don't want to overstate it, but, to the degree it reminds us that Hunter Biden, whether or not he was involved in this is one matter. But, the left is telling us the fact that he was, or perhaps still could be, a cocaine addict, a drug addict, should have no reflection, should be ignored when evaluating the Biden administration's corruption issues. And I would say it's just the opposite. his drug addiction and the craziness associated with that further highlights the questionable hiring of him by Burisma and all the monies that were thrown his way when his father was in the vice presidency and shortly thereafter. If he was a drug addict, it raises additional questions as to why the heck he was hired. It should have been readily apparent, and I think it probably was at the time, that he was not a reliable person because of his drug addiction. So it just further highlights the corruption in terms of the payments that evidently, according to all the evidence that we have public thus far, was laundered for the benefit of Joe Biden. And so that's where you have the intersection of the drug addiction and the corruption of Joe Biden. In addition to, the crimes associated with the drug addiction, obviously you have the gun weapons charge that is being skedaddled or suppressed by the Justice Department into, I guess, a diversion program as part of that sweetheart plea agreement. I mean, who else gets diversion programs at that level at the federal court, at the federal system for gun charges like that? I'm not aware of too many of those happening. I don't think it's actually the rule, and it's frowned upon. But if you're Hunter, you get protected. So it's all of these, Biden's cocaine scandal, the Biden White House cocaine scandal, highlights the compromised nature of the agencies that are covering for Biden now and in the past, and it highlights the serious nature and raises additional questions and further confirms the corruption of Hunter Biden getting hired by all these powerful foreign interests. They certainly didn't hire him because he was reliable. And why would you hire a drug addict unless, of course, he was the vice president's son and there was something of a bribe, there was some extortion or racketeering or laundering going on of monies. So there you have it. And so Judicial Watch won't give up on this White House cocaine scandal. It's going to be difficult to get documents out of the Secret Service because it touches on security of the president and the White House complex, and they're very sensitive to that. So I'm sure that will be used as an excuse to keep all this key information away from the American people. But if they can't stop drugs from getting into the White House, what else can't they stop from getting into the White House? So there's a real security issue here in addition to the corruption. And they want us all to pretend that they just can't possibly figure out who did it. And I think there probably isn't a Democrat or Republican or independent who buys any of that. And I'm sure the Democrats, for political reasons, are pretending the Secret Service investigation is serious and should be taken seriously. But I don't think anyone in their honest moments believes that. And certainly Judicial Watch, even if we thought they were doing their best they could, we still don't trust them. So we're going to do our own investigation. And that's what you support us for, and that's what we're going to stand up. It's what we're going to do in terms of standing in the gap and providing that leadership there. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.